How you doing today?
Good, man. Off day. Had the radio interview this morning for the documentary. I got off work at 6:30 this morning. So I'm good though.
You finally about to get a nap, soon? Like,
Probably this evening, that's how I go to the gym, grocery shop, do. I feel like work is never over for me. I'm
Right.
always doing something. Not complaining, but like just
right.
always on go.
It don't stop. So, for those who don't know you, introduce yourself.
My name is Jéan P the MC. I'm 35 years old. I'm a father, letter carrier, hip hop artist, podcaster, caretaker, community leader. I do a lot of things. So
Nice. Where you from?
Canton, like you was talking shit about, Canton, Ohio. Born and raised, where the Heights man lives at right now.
You damn right.
Nah, Canton, Ohio, born and raised. Is this home? Beautiful Canton. Canton, I always joke and say Canton, Lachey, Ohio.
Canton Lachey. Hey, that's where Nick Lachey's from? I thought he was from Natty.
No, I meant Lachey like a feminine name, not Nick Lachey.
Because Nick Lachey.
He is from Cincinnati.
He's from Natty.
Shout 98 Degrees.
Yeah.
Underrated boy band.
Very underrated.
Very underrated.
What part of Canton are you from specifically?
Southeast side.
Okay.
From the southeast side of Canton. Then when my dad passed, we moved over to the northwest, where I went to Clarendon. Then went from the northwest, went to Plain Township. So I kind of been all over when it comes to Canton. Then back to the city when in middle school, I went to Layman and graduated from McKinley. So.
Okay. Can you explain the makeup of the city? As far as like you got the northwest, south, east. A lot of I'm from Cleveland, so we got east side, we got the west side. And that's about it. Then it's broken down from there.
So like, Northwest in my generation was like everybody lived there, mix of black and white. Northeast was like black and white too. You go to certain parts, so it'd be all black. Southeast all black, Southwest was like a mixture, black and white. So Canton is a diverse city in a way, but different sides are different things, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like we all kind of come together, whether it's an event or something going on, but we all kind of know what to expect on certain sides.
Nice.
Different kind of culture in a way.
Right.
So.
Right. How can you, what are the characteristics of the different people in Canton? It's broken down. Northwest. Southeast, northeast.
Characteristics?
Yeah, like are there any like stereotypes, from the different parts, and do you represent any of those? Like, how would you describe yourself?
I was born in Northwest, so Northwest is like a mixture, black and white. The Southeast, like they say, is the hood, of Canton. Southwest is like mixture, mainly like they always say like the hood white boys on that side of town. You know what I'm saying? Cause like Sowers is over there, Timken Company is over there. Just like if you're from Canton, you kind of understand. Like Southwest white boys. And then Northwest a mixture, Southeast, the hood, Northeast a mixture of both. So I'm in the Northeast where I deliver mail at, so I'm like in the city.
Right.
So I get a mixture of everything.
Yeah, like is there any like specific slang, like way people talk differently from, aside from like racial demographics, like, what are the characteristics? Like how do the people
I know Canton, rest in peace, Doc's, like guy. It's like, what's up, guy? Like, what guy? That's how you know somebody mad.
Right.
I know I said that once I was in college. I was mad. I said the Canton came out of me. I was like, what's up, guy? I was mad, but yeah, just little things like that. But that's the thing about Canton, is like you can look at somebody and kind of tell what side of town they live on or where middle school they might have went to. It's all Bulldogs now, but when I was in school, it was like you could look at somebody, oh, you from the Southwest, or you from the Southeast, or okay, I can tell just looking at somebody.
So if somebody looked at you, could they tell, like, what did you...
In what year?
Say like when you got, because you say you were at, when you were at McKinley, what part of town did you say you lived in?
Northwest. So I live by Clarendon. So I live by Auburn Hospital, but I didn't live on the Southwest. Auburn Hospital was on the Southwest. I lived across the other side. So I was near Clarendon, near the fairgrounds, near McKinley. Okay. So that was like a mixture of black and white in that area.
So like, how would you say you represented, you know, your hood in that realm, you know, when you step out, you know, went to Belden Village or whatever?
Like, just knowing like how I represent, that's a good question. Just my demeanor, you know, because like I said, you can look and tell like, oh, he too hood or he too proper. I was like in between, because I was born on the Southeast, but then when my father passed, you know, we moved to, like I said, to the Northwest. So it's kind of in you, you know. Once you're from that side of town, it's in you. So.
Right. Overall, how would you explain, you know, growing up in the Canton area, how it was for you?
Like growing up with family, you know, a lot of people, we all grew up together, elementary. Now some of us in our 30s, and we got kids now. Some of our kids are in school. So growing up in Canton is like growing up with family, you know, like for example, like, you know, if we grew up as kids and you was in some street stuff, we'd be like, I don't care about that. I know you from back in the day. You my friend, you know. So growing up here is like growing up with your family.
Nice. And I see you mentioning, you know, how you lost your dad earlier. How old were you?
I was 6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you? What happened to him actually?
My dad was shot at a club. He went to a club and him and the guy had some beef, and the gentleman retaliated. And, you know, that was an interesting time because I was so young, but what kind of kept me afloat was how people remembered him. So like in a way, I always felt like he was alive, because when people see me or see my sister, they'd talk about my dad like, oh man, I remember John or Green Eyes, you know, ladies would call him that. But I think my dad passing away so young, he was gone physically, but I always felt he was with me because of the stories people said about him.
Right.
So,
you know, yeah, that has to be tough at that age. And he was like fully in your life prior to that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Your parents were together.
Yep.
And everything. Were they married or?
No, they weren't married. They were young, you know, because my sister was born. She was, I think Tia was a year old when he passed. She wasn't even 2. So, but from what I remember in that time, he was 100% involved. My dad wasn't in and out the house. He lived with us. We all was a family.
So, you know, because you were so young, was this something that you had to get over? You know, have you gotten over it in any way? Like, you know, because you were so young, was it something that you had to even get over? I mean, you say, you know, people would always remind you of the kind of person he was.
Yeah.
But it's just something
that was different when I was young, because I don't think people understood, like, hey, I'm young, I'm getting over this in a way. Because like when people would tell me these stories, I would always want to know, like, well, tell me more. Because I was only 6 years old when he passed. So like, I always had to play it off like, oh, thank you. As I got older and learning about mental health and understanding that you got to heal from losing parents, it really means a lot, you know? So now it makes me feel good. But when I was young, I was like, man, tell me more. I only got 6 years with him. You got a little bit longer than I did. You know, when people would tell me these stories about him playing ball and things like that. So I kind of understood like the healing with loss definitely gets better as you get older, because I was young and not understanding, but also then mental health really wasn't a priority. So at times when I would say I was sad because of my dad passing, they would say, oh, get over it. Nobody really understood like how do you feel, versus now in 2025 where mental health is a priority. Nobody thinks a young 6-year-old kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, is going through things mentally.
Right.
Like when we would say, I'm depressed, go depress them dishes. Hell, you probably really was depressed, you know what I'm saying? Really sad about something, but we come from a generation that didn't really understand that.
Right.
So.
I can only imagine that, like, as you've gotten older, you know, when you dealing with grown man things, you know, you probably felt some type of ways just not having your dad there to, you know, at least bounce things off of.
Yeah, and like in a way, even with my own son, I try to do things that I didn't get, you know, even with other men in my life, like not too much, but me and my son had got into it, and instead of me just sucking it up and saying whatever, I admitted I was wrong. I don't think our parents ever said they were wrong. It was kind of like, it's my way or nobody's way.
Right.
But this generation, you gotta let them know, hey, you know, I was wrong, because the kids now, they understand a little bit more than we did.
They can Google everything.
Literally.
Yeah.
So, and these kids know what accountability means. We didn't understand that. So these kids expect adults to take accountability. So when me and my son got into it, as any parent with their kid, I took accountability in my part in it and whatever we had got into. But like, we didn't come from that. I didn't get to experience that with my mom or my dad, you know, because I was 15 when she passed. So a lot of things I didn't really get to understand from parents in a sense fully. I didn't get so much time to really embrace those moments of accountability, and because I feel like if my parents were still here, it would have been different now, because we'd have had a lot more conversations,
Right.
a lot more understanding about things. So.
Yeah. So you say your mom passed away when you were 15. Where she passed away from?
She had cancer.
What kind of cancer?
It was called, I think it was hepatocellular cancer. So many different kinds of cancer. It was like on her liver or something like that. Like, she didn't drink or nothing, so, or smoke. So we was confused as to how she would have this kind of cancer, you know? But yeah, cancer got to her. She's perfectly fine, and that's what it was.
Wow. How did you feel?
Man.
As far as like, when did you find out that she had cancer? How was that broken down to you? Did she tell you directly, or?
It was, excuse me. It was more of a thing we noticed. Cause my mom had really long hair, like down her back, forever. And then one day, like, she came home and was like, I got a haircut. We was like, oh, that's random. Nice haircut too. It was like one of them pixie cuts. And then I started to notice, like, she would say, like, oh, I'm losing my hair, but would say it faintly. Then one day I came home, and my stepdad, he always shaved his head at the time. And then I noticed my mom's was shaved too. So I was like, oh man, then that's when they told me she had cancer, and then, you know, it's kind of like where it kind of began, you know?
How long was your battle?
Let me see. I found out when I was 14, so about a year or two. So it was like progressive, it was like fast, you know? So, I'm sorry, I was 15. So, yep.
That's tough, man.
Yeah, bro, it was like, plus I always thought, I had this theory in my head, you know, they say Pisces are delusional, and I think I was delusional in this time thinking, well, I lost my dad, I can't lose my mom, because, you know, naturally we always think our moms is our superheroes, regardless. So when that happened, I was like, man, again? But, you know, I had to learn from losing both parents. So at that point, it was like, why me?
Right.
But then, you know, that's when hip hop kind of came into my life and was the parent I needed.
Were you involved in any other like extracurricular activities around that time? Like.
Yeah, I was involved with like church and played sports a little bit. I ran track for like a year. Don't do that. We're talking to an athlete right here. But yeah, I did with dabble, and I played as a kid. I was physical.
Right.
But I had a childhood, but just didn't have my parents. My grandma raised me. I was really into the creative and arts and music and all of that. So I had avenues, I had outlets, you know? So.
When did that come into play?
Music it's always been in my life, but I know it's cliche to say, but literally, like, my mom directed the choir from the time she was in elementary damn near till she passed. So music has always been in my life, because going to choir rehearsal with her and watching her put these songs together, go to different churches. So like even after our main service was over, she had to go sing somewhere, you know, and so music's always been in my life. Hip hop kind of came into my life when I learned how to write. My Uncle Jerry, he rapped. So seeing him do it, because, you know, when you see your family do it, it makes it possible, because at the time, you know, you're a kid, you seeing rappers, you're like, oh, that's not possible, that's on TV. But then when you hear your uncle on a CD, you're like, oh, well, if he could do it.
You say you almost got signed, right?
Yeah, he was almost signed around the time they were gonna sign Cash Money and Saint Lunatics. And they were signing groups and stuff in different areas. And you know the story with Cash Money, they signed that big deal.
Yeah.
My uncle almost signed a big deal, but some things happened with the group he was involved with, and that unfortunately that didn't happen. You know, so kind of seeing my uncle go through that dream, be killed, it always motivated me to be like, no, I'm gonna make mine happen. And granted, that was out of his control.
Right.
But I just
Plus,
was,
it was just a different game.
and the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You needed the industry way more back then.
Way more.
Yeah.
And even then, like even before I even got fully into music, he always taught me just do it for yourself. If the opportunity comes and somebody want to help you, then you gotta talk business. You know what I'm saying? So, and I've been in those situations where I'm like, yeah, he was right. I'd rather just do it myself, do it my way. You know, because sometimes when people are in control of what you're doing, it's helpful, but sometimes they control you to where, how can we make some money? And my mission ain't always about making no money. It's great, but my mission is like deeper than that.
How did your peers, take to you making music initially?
So, my mom got married again when I was 8. Or married again, but married when I was 8. And my stepdad loved him to death, but he was super, super, super religious. We couldn't watch BT, we couldn't watch no MTV. I used to sneak and watch it. So like when I knew he wasn't around, I'd flick on whatever. Now I know he'd be around, I'd flick it back off. Cause he just was real big on having the worldly things in our house.
Right.
Such as, you know how I go, if you grew up secular with religious parents, BT, MTV, VH1, all that, it wasn't going for it. But I like to write. So naturally, when I go to my cousins, I read his Source magazines, or I have Vibe magazines, and listen to music outside of the home then. But like, once I got a little older, teenage years, and I kicked my first rap, and my teacher called home and said, hey, he's really good at this, That's when I knew, like, well, my peers had to respect it. My dad, he kind of backed off a little bit because he was like, okay, he's good at this, but we used to bust heads a lot about my love for hip hop and anything that wasn't of the church.
I mean, that's amazing that you had a teacher that encouraged you. What was your teacher's name?
At the time, it was Miss Mitchell, but now it's Miss Parker. Okay. That right there was when I knew I was good at something. Because, growing up in a city like Canton, they expect you to be good at football, basketball, or sports. It didn't work for me that way. Unfortunately, I love sport, I love basketball, but it just did not work out for me that way. And I remember that day when we did that homework assignment. Like I said, I was in my bedroom rapping. I was Jay-Z, Kanye, I was a superstar in my bedroom, but I was like, oh, I gotta get this out one day if I want people to know I'm good at something. So I always knew in the back of my head I had to stop being shy and eventually rap. So I kicked that rap in 8th grade as a homework assignment. And I remember the kids wasn't taking it so serious, but I knew, I was like, okay, I gotta take this serious. I gotta really show them this is what I'm good at.
Right.
So the kids didn't want to get up there and rap. They was like, I don't wanna do this. I wanted to do it, but I was scared. And my homie Sammy Moore, shout out to Sammy, he beatboxed for me. And I did that rap. I remember I did the rap, right? And it was a pause for like 5 seconds. And then the class just went crazy. And my teacher stood out of her chair and was like shocked because I spit the rap. And she said something I'll never forget. She said, and then when you get your first royalty check or something, I'll put it up right on my wall right here. And I was like, oh, I can get paid for this? Like, you think I'm good enough to somebody give you some money? Because everybody said they rap. Yeah. But for somebody to be like, hey, here, for rapping, I'm like, oh, you think I'm that good? Mind you, I'm 14, 13 years, I'm a kid.
Right.
Still developing. I'm like, you think I'm good enough for that? And then she called home, and I remember that day I went home, and my mom was like, your teacher called me today. And she said, I heard you went on a little tour, because she made me rap for every class.
What?
In 8th grade, yeah.
Like, we about to build some characters.
She was like, if you don't mind, she said, you don't have a choice. She said, you're gonna do that for every class. And I remember like my teacher, my math teacher, Mr. Samola, pulled me out of class and said, she needs you for a performance or something. So that felt cool too, getting pulled out of class to go to another class of her, another mod, to rap the rap. She made me perform that rap for every class.
That's wild.
So that was like my first tour. That's what she said. I put you in your first tour. I'm having you rap that, and every class reacted the same way. It was either whoa, or it was John Johnson. No, not John. What? You can do that? Hey man, can you write my rap? I ain't do my homework. It was a homework assignment.
Right.
So kids was like paying me $1 or $2 to be like,
ghostwriting. you was Quentin Miller.
My homie, I remember my homie JT, Jerome Love. I remember he was always notorious for not doing his homework. He was notorious for that.
Yeah.
And one time he was like, hey bro, I got $5. Can you write me a rap real quick? Cause if I don't pass this, I'm gonna fail the class. So he paid me $5, wrote a quick rap. He said, hey bro, I passed. I got a C, but
but it was right.
Effort.
It was satisfactory.
He got a C. He was like, but thank you, bro. But he gave me $5. And I was like, you know, 8th grade,
right.
$5 was like $100. I was like,
right.
Hell yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I'm buying everybody snacks.
Right.
Hell yeah. So that's when I knew I was good at something. And once my teacher called home and said he's good at hip hop, that's when my dad was like, all right, I'll back off. Cause he used to come in the house, see us watching BET, turn that mess off. He was on that type of time. So like, for him to be like, okay, as long as he ain't cussing or doing nothing crazy, and I know I wasn't gonna do that, but some people had this assumption of hip hop, like, they just talking a bunch of nonsense. I was really just talking about my life.
Right.
And just how good I was, and some fantasy. You know, when you first start off, you talk about your fantasies and what you like to do, or because we thought the club was the greatest thing when we saw music videos back in the day.
Right.
But I never been to a club, but in my raps, I was at the club. I was at the club, popping bottles.
Bottles of Nouveau.
Yeah.
Hypnotic.
I was in there popping bottles. You know how I go when you write raps, you in the club. VIP, because even in that rap I spit, I said something. We getting mad. It said you getting mad and your girl debate, and she reminded you that you gotta please stop hating. I would never say that in 8th grade. What? That don't even sound like me. Bro, I said, roll up to the spot in the parking lot, and the homies just said that my ride was hot. I never even drove a car. But that rap, I was like, yeah, this is it. I'm here. This is what I want to do. And ever since then, I kept a notebook. My dad backed off, because prior to that, we would go at it because I just wouldn't stop. I wasn't going to quit. I was a little older, so I was like, look, I'm not going to stop rapping, because we got into it once. And you know how parents go through a period where they try to throw your stuff away? He went through my rooms, going through shit, and he went right to my raps. And I'll never forget, mind you, my dad, he like 6'2". He got scholarship offers from Ohio State and Michigan to play football before he had kidney failure. Big dude. When he was getting ready to throw the raps away, I stood up and said, you ain't doing my raps. And he said, what you say? I said, you ain't doing that. And my mom had to get in between us because she knew the power that he had, but she also could see how serious I was. Because I wasn't a fighter then, but for her to see her young son say, you're not gonna take my raps away, that's when she was like, oh, I mean, okay, because you ain't supposed to be talking back, but he's serious about his raps. I was so serious about my raps, but that was before I rapped for the class. And once he saw my teacher, someone from outside our home say, he's good at this, that's when he started to back off. Now, when I call him, he say, Jéan P the MC. I'm like, what? He don't even listen to raps. You know, my dad, he not watching BET, MTV. He's real big about his face. So now, the fact that he calls his son Jéan P the MC, or he saw me at the symphony show, I think that's a whole 360. Because at that time, I thought he hated anything hip hop.
I think, yeah. I mean, he probably did. He probably still do, but he probably got a lot of love for what you do. You know, and shoot, I see a lot of men. They just want out of younger men just to have a purpose. You know.
Yeah.
They don't want you to go end up doing something that you don't need to be doing when there's obviously better options out there in the world for you to do so.
Because I come from that church background where I went to this church camp and they would always talk about hip hop, and they would play like a backwards clip of Jay-Z, and they'd be like, you don't want to get into hip hop.
They was throwing all that Illuminati stuff and all that.
Oh, they was big on that. They was so big on that. Every year I went to church camp, we always knew they was gonna play that video. Play the clip. It was Jay-Z. I guess some rewound clip. 666.
And from the Gray album.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't put that together. That's DJ Danger Mouse.
Right. I knew this though.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just a remix. But at church, just demonic. You play any record backwards, they telling, you know, and not to disrespect nobody's faith and beliefs, but like in my heart, I was like, I don't want to rap like Jay-Z though. I want to kind of rap about my own life, you know, but that's the type of background I came from because they view hip hop apostolic. No, but now when people from the church see me, Jéan P, how's your music going? And that blows my mind because like growing up apostolic, hip hop, R&B was a no-no in the church.
Right.
Outside of church, they was doing whatever now, but then it was a no-no. So for my stepdad jokingly referring to me as Jéan P and even going to my symphony show, it's like a blessing because now he's seeing I have a purpose. Like, cause some of them have a crazy view of hip hop. We just guns, hoes, all that. That wasn't what I was on, and I'm not on that now. So for adults his age to be like, yeah, I can play Jéan P. He might say nigga, damn, or shit or something, but it ain't nothing where I gotta cover my ears or, you know.
Some actually, you know, it's actually like worth listening to the story.
I think it's cool when parents play my songs for kids, cause I even cringe at myself when I'm saying nigga this or that, but I also think like kids are exposed to way worse than me saying shit or damn. There's way more stuff out here.
So after your mom passed away, you know, what was life like for you? Like what happened like after she passed?
We had to live with our grandmother. We were with our stepfather, but we moved in with our grandmother. And I was sad. I went through some dark phases as a teenager, navigating with that quietly. But that was when I found hip hop. Like when I first heard Tribe Called Quest, and I was watching the BET Top on Saturdays. I don't know if you remember. Used to be rappers that would show their countdowns, BET Top 25 countdown, and Kanye West picked Benita Applebum as one of the songs. And I was like, man, this is crazy. I never heard it. I was like 14, 15. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like I like this. I like what this is about. So like, remember I took the bus to the Exchange and I bought every Tribe Called Quest album, every Roots album, every Gangstar album. We had some money left over. I spent all my money on CDs. And I bought a PlayStation 3. And I remember I would sit in my room with a notebook and just play albums and just write down notes and what I felt about certain songs and would try to mimic them, like, oh, how'd they come up with that? Like, what was they thinking about? So it caused me to look into history, like the roots, deep. So I had to go into history books and learn about what they were talking about. Tribe Called Quest, Benita Applebum, how to talk to girls. I learned how to talk to women from that song. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were very approachable, very themselves. I'm like, I could talk to girls like that. So like, though my mother and father were gone, hip hop artists stepped in at certain points as family. You know what I'm saying? Like STDs and sex. I learned about that through Pubic Enemy. Tribe Called Quest made a song about catching an STD and the consequences of it. Learned about how to be proud to be black from listening to Gangstar and the Roots. They never shied away from me and strong black men. So I always keep that in my mind, in my heart. Lupe Fiasco, he made it cool to be kind of a nerd and know about the world, but also be a dope MC. So like I took bits and pieces from these guys and applied it to my life to this day.
Right.
So hip hop stepped in as family for me when I lost the two biggest family members you could have, mother and the father.
Right, yeah, and like it's amazing that you chose them as like your inspirations and your like moral compass, you know, because like most kids under that circumstance would have chose Gucci Mane.
Yeah.
Around that, I'm thinking about.
And I like that stuff.
I mean,
Dipset.
That was all our shit.
Oh, I loved all that.
You know, but like you didn't like make that like who you were. You know what I mean? Like you wasn't like, well, because they saying black folks do this, I'm gonna go do this.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna go deal drugs because I'm about to go out, I'm about to start crashing out. Like
Yeah, because it was like, for me, it was like two different listen to music. Like, I listen to music as an artist because I'm like, man, I'm trying to do this. But I'm also a fan of the culture. So yeah, I like Dipset. I thought 50 Cent was damn near a hip hop superhero when he came out. I was like, he got shot 9 times. I'm about to go buy this album.
Right.
Yes.
But that album was hard though. It was a great album.
That was the thing about street rappers too, like versus, I hate saying it, the YNs now. The street rappers we had back then, like Jeezy, Plies, 50, Dipset, they had a story to tell. Now it's kind of like, okay, the streets, but it's like, what's the point? I remember my mom let me buy Get Rich or Die Trying. And that's why I knew that's why I knew I grew up, because this is when she was alive. She let me buy 50 Cent. She gave me, I cut some grass.
She was in like 7th grade. I think I was in 8th grade.
Yeah, because it was cold. I think I had like, did some yard work or shovel some snow or something, because it came out in like February.
Yeah.
My mom gave me $30. She was like, here. I went straight into FYE or exchange. I said, I want that 50 Cent. My mom right there, because you had to have an adult with you. My mom right there. We look alike, so they let me get it. Man, when I heard them bullets rattle in that intro, ba-na-na-na, video name. Right. Whoa, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. He got shot 9, because to me, I love personalities in hip hop. 50 Cent got shot and he became the man he is now. Right. The bad guy, but he was also a badass dude. Yeah. Like, he got shot 9 times and he became like New York himself. Right. I was like, man, this dude got Eminem. Back then having an Eminem co-sign, I was like, Eminem co-signed him? Oh yeah, he cold. Dr. Dre, how kids look at a co-sign from Alchemist, back then, if Dr. Dre was stamped on it, oh, you was official.
Right.
Dr. Dre and Eminem behind this dude from Queens, New York, oh yeah, I'm sold. Even like Ludacris. I love that Ludacris was so creative and fun. And fun fact, you can relate, Ludacris dropped the album every year I was in high school.
Yeah, that was my favorite artist.
Come on, man. We had Ludacris, we had 50, we had Jeezy, we had Dipset, we had
Jay-Z, Black Album,
Hove, Kanye. We had so many MCs to champion for the culture, which is why like I'm such a stickler now, because it's like now it's like a free-for-all. Back then, you knew the guys in hip hop. Method Man, Redman, 50, all the names we mentioned. Just like now, they try mainstream level. It's like now, our mainstream, they're trying to put us contemporary.
It's weird. They only give you like a few samples, you know, what it is, and then you see a lot of artists out here that they are actually blowing up, but you know they'll never get radio play. Like, you know, there's live play with people out there with millions and millions.
Because now it's so accessible. Now it's like everybody's doing it, or it's accessible to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Back then, when I was in high school, it was like, man, I pray I can get in the studio. I would love to get in the studio one day. Now I can just turn on my computer and I'm in the studio. Some of people in our generation get a little tired of rap because it's like everybody's doing it, but that's why we appreciate the music that came out in our generation, because it's like, man, that was one of a kind. Yeah. There was only so many, like a handful of rappers you could listen to and go buy their CDs.
I think it's dope that you even like mentioned that logistical part of the music though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, throughout my time talking to a lot of artists, I would always like try to break it down to them, like, hey, you need to be able to record yourself. You know, this ain't what it used to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
not.
I've seen engineers who care about the money. Who care about the money more than the music. And I've seen like a very small group that really put in that time when they're working with artists.
Yeah.
You know, making sure that artist gets the most, gets their money's worth. You know, I really that's a big thing. That's just a big thing. But anyway,
I get it.
Yeah, kind of digress a little bit on that. Now,
I went to college at Ohio University.
Okay.
Creative writing major, and I had a scholarship for African American. Like it's from Links. I got a Links scholarship to go to OU for creative writing.
Okay.
So.
Nice. What was that experience like?
Oh man, OU was the shaping years for me. You know, like I think that was the beginning of Jéan P the MC, formally, and I think that was my introduction to the world. you know?
Right.
Learning about friendships, learning about academics, learning about life. I was 18 going into college, so I was definitely learning my way as a man. Building friendships that I still have to this day. Like that period in OU in Athens was very formative years. I'm grateful for them. Like I don't know what my life would have been if I didn't go to OU. I didn't finish.
Why didn't you graduate?
Cause financial, I had my son, so like that was a wake-up call too, because I was down there playing rapper and I should have been playing student, you know. That's like one of those things that kind of kicks you in the ass to this day. If I could go back to school, I would. I'm a very smart person, you know, I'm a very smart individual, so like, you know, my purpose in Athens wasn't necessarily Jéan P the MC, but I think that's what God allowed to happen. You know, I think God allowed me to go to Athens to experience being a boy to a man, because I had my son. You know what I'm saying? Learn some good, learn some bad. But yeah, I think God allowed me to go to OU to be Jéan P the MC, but he knows in my heart that I'm a creative writing graduate, or should be a creative writing graduate.
You were 19 years old when you had your son?
Yeah, I was 20.
You were 20.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't even drink yet.
Mm-mm.
You know, you still not even really a man.
Nah.
It's only by law. You know, like, what was going through your mind when,
Woo.
like, yeah, when you found out that you were going to be a dad? Plus, you know, like, was it just like any old feelings from like, okay, all right, I lost my dad, I lost my mom, and now now I'm in college and I'm about to have a son.
My mom would say this quote. She would say, "Playtime is over," and when she would say that, we knew what she meant when she would say that. And when I got that, cause you know, that call,
right?
That I'm late. I was like, oh, playtime is over, because at that time I always joke and say them OU years, even though I'm different as an artist now, even though I was developing as Jéan P the MC, I was living the rock star life. You know, in the biopics of celebrities, they go through that phase where they go to the parties and the girls and the drugs. I went through that in college. You know what I'm saying? That was me.
Right.
You know, it ain't that much now, but like, I was in that mode. You know, I'm Jéan P, but people know me when I go on campus. I'm young, I ain't even got nothing on iTunes yet. I'm Jéan P, what?
Right.
All these girls like, oh, you from Canton, what? You know, attention I was not getting here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm getting attention from artists, people loving what I do there versus here. You don't rap, but there, oh man, I like what you're doing. So I'm getting all that attention and not taking it serious, because you know how dudes are. Oh, I don't want no baby. You gonna take care of that, right? You know? And then the wake-up call when she said, I don't want to take care of that. I was like, oh, you don't want to do that route. Oh, so we here now. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I thought about. Playtime is over. That was, and then it was like the lowest point. I ain't had no money.
Right.
The downloads wasn't making no. This is a blog era of hip hop. Anybody getting no money? You know what I'm saying? Why you think a lot of the blog era we like end up signing? Because it was just the internet. Unless you know how to make money off the internet then, there was really no money in a blog post. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was going to South by Southwest. Like I thought I was going to be going to, because at that time was when Big Sean and Wale and Kid Cudi and Charles Hamilton and Blue and Corey Guns and Ace Hood, all of them was going to South by Southwest. So in my head, I'm gonna go down there too. But I can't go down there because I have a child on the way.
Right.
I'm failing school. You know you gotta go to class. You out here playing rapper. What about these grades, sir? Oh, if you ain't got the grades, then you gotta go. And I think that was my lesson in life. One of the lessons I'll never forget to this day. Because I love the rapper attention. But then I also was a wake-up call like, okay, we can't just play rapper. We got a baby on the way. We gotta get these grades up. And you gotta pay for school, because you ain't got no scholarship right now, because you ain't got your grades up.
Right.
So I had to come back home, start over again. And it was embarrassing, because, you know, everybody thought I was going, John Johnson's going to graduate. Because like I said, I'm a smart person. Then when I came home, And at the time, and I was like, oh, I rap. How original. You know, I remember my Uncle Donald, the head of our family. I came home and he saw my son's mom was pregnant. What you gonna do? You know, I go to the old head, what you gonna do? Oh, well, you know, I'm gonna do my music. Uncle ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah, like,
Where we working at? But I'm on my music.
Where the money at?
She pregnant. What you gonna do? Jéan P. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
those years I was a little selfish. I wish I would have been more of a better provider when it came to being a father, because I was my music, that was my focus. And once I realized, oh, I gotta go to work, or I gotta get a car, or I can't be in grandma's house, was when I had to grow up. So I think once I experienced life and grew up, it was like a rebranding.
Right.
Because at the time I was just OU Jéan P. Ohio University, I'm popping, I'm band on campus.
Yeah.
That is gone now.
Right.
Now people see, oh, he ain't in Athens no more. Oh, he in Canton. He working at Goodwill? He regular person now. So once I got past that and was not embarrassed with being home from school, because I started to realize, well, other people didn't make it in school either, that's when I kind of was like, all right, well, let's see what we can do with this music stuff. So I learned from what my homie Chris had showed me.
Yeah.
And how he recorded, because we was recording with the laptop set up even in college. I put my money up, got me a laptop, and started to record the same way here. So,
You talking about DJ I Shine?
I Shine,
I Shine.
my dog, my best friend to this day.
Hey.
And he showed me, and I'm so blessed with my friends because they didn't abandon me. Chris was like, I'll show you how to do it, back when you could still screen record and do all that. So he set me up, and I was recording the same way as I was in college. So once I knew I could do that, I was like, oh, we can continue. But, you know, take 9 steps forward, 8 steps back. Hey, we can record the same way we was in Athens, but grandma don't like that you're making music every night and you making so much noise in the house. Man, now I gotta find me a crib.
I remember.
You had to come to my grandma's house to interview me.
Yeah, last time we spoke, you had hair.
Yeah, that too.
And we were in your grandma's crib, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, right after that, we had the show at the Oracle.
Yep.
And I was just looking at videos from that, and Amir was there. He was napping in the back room. You know, like, it was so many people on that card too. Shit, even your cousin
Brianna Brandy, who wrestles for WWE right now.
Superstar.
Shout out Brianna Brandy.
You know, matter of fact, tell me about Brianna Brandy and her rap career here.
Man, I wish I was more in touch with Brianna now. Like, I love her to death. We speak every now and then, but she's doing her thing. I don't really think I'm popping up like, hey, cuz. You know, but I'm proud of her. I'm so proud of her. I remember she used to come down to Athens with my Uncle Jerry because she was trying to figure out her niche.
Yeah.
We didn't think wrestling was ever going to be it because she tried music and was well at it. You know what I'm saying? And she was trying to find her lane. And then once she got into the lane with wrestling, the rest was history. But like, I'm so proud of Brianna, but it makes me feel good to know, when she was trying to figure it out, she comes down to Athens, try to get her feet wet a little bit, and she performed in my showcase, but now she's WWE superstar.
Amazing.
Crazy, right? But you talk about them days where at my grandma's house, that's why I think this documentary is full circle.
Yeah.
Because when I told you, hey man, come to my I was embarrassed to tell you that. You gotta come to my grandma's house and come to the basement. And then now, a documentary, hell, even having my own place, that is a crazy 360 and a blessing, because some people don't get out from that spot that you met me in.
Yeah.
Hell, you was big Jordan then. I was like, yeah, when you first came, I was like, man, that's a big dude. I was like, he fresh off the football field. Shit, big dude. And now, because I was like 21, 22 when we met each other, and to be 35 years old, mailman, my kid's 14 now, doing the documentary and having the attention and respect that I have in the city, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Like it makes me humble in a way, because You couldn't tell, oh, you Jéan P shit. I was like, I'm good. I'm hitting chicks. I'm popular, you know me, when I walk on campus. But the thing I thought then that was a success. And then now, it's like, yeah, okay.
I think the biggest flex out of all that is that like now your son is about to start high school.
That's a crazy
He's
flex.
doing his thing. He's an athlete and everything. And that's you know.
Crazy flex, man. Like crazy 360. And it's also like, again, like I don't go to church every Sunday, but I'm a very spiritual person. I trust in God, and I believe like God allowed me to go through those bad things and those growing up moments for this very moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up with God, and I never will forget that, no matter what I've been through, because He could have put me to the side, and I could have been a Canton nigga like you see. You would have, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that even when you did that interview with me, and the fact that you're doing this, it's crazy because like, I think you were just starting Oxed Out.
Yeah, I did a few episodes here.
Did a few.
I had it going for a little bit.
Did a few, but like you were still developing. But now all the knowledge you've gained as a videographer and photographer to doing this now, it's probably be way easier for you to put together because I feel like even then you were still learning. So like the fact that we met each other in our learning phases, because me and you met arguing on Twitter.
Yeah, literally.
You was talking shit.
Yeah, I'm like, shit, where the rappers at? Like, shoot, like.
That's back when Twitter was like, that's back when you could see shit, see comments and stuff. And I didn't know, I wasn't even following you. Now I see somebody talking about Kent rappers. I think somebody retweeted you or something, or I might have been searching Kent, and I was like, man, who's this dude talking, running his mouth? And I sent you a link or something. You was like, all right, you all right. Because you wasn't trying to like me at first, but then you was like, all right, you cool.
He nice, man. Like, I saw the style was like way more polished than a lot of stuff I
yeah.
out of like south of Cleveland.
Uh-huh.
You know.
That's what I had to learn too, is like, I wasn't everybody's cup of tea until they heard me, because when my approach was like, oh, I'm a rapper, and they immediately wrote me off. But then I'm like, well, listen to this. And I play them what I'm doing. They like, because last time a lot of that was like that, like, oh, you really rap. Like a show I did in Cleveland. Funny story, talking to somebody from Cleveland about this. I did a show in the Flats. And Cleveland, if they don't like you, they are ruthless. They will ignore you. They may boo you. I never forget, this is back when Migos was popping. Everybody was rapping like Migos. I walk into this venue, you know my hip hop ass. I got my jeans, my boot cut, my baggy jeans at the top. I had on an LRG shirt.
Oh my God.
And this LRG shirt I had on it set me up for failure. A red bandana on this sleeve and a blue one on this one.
You thought you was.
And a yellow bandana in the pocket. So I go into this show and they booing it's one dude in particular. He walking around, people performing, he walking around the venue, boo, trash, sorry. So I'm like, I know they're gonna boo my hip hop ass. That's what I thought. I'm like, every person that went up there, he would, boo, that shit sucked. For real, he was booing everybody. So I'm like, he gonna boo me, for sure. Cause it was like 5 acts, he booed all of them. So the host, all right, y'all, give it up for Jéan P. And I'm like, Jéan. Oh, my fault, Jéan P. Dead crowd. What's up, how y'all doing, what's up? Better than you? All right, cool, let me hear y'all say, go Jéan P, go. Nah. But a couple people did it. But he was nah, and he went to the bar, right? And sat at the bar. He just said nah, and to the bar. I'm mad. I'm like, man, fuck that dude. So I got this song called P is Up. I started off, I guess the beat must have, I said, I let it be, I was like, hold on, man. I know I'm in Cleveland, but I'm like, nah, I ain't soft. So I said, man, y'all ain't paid $10 just to boo people. If you trying to hear some real shit, come on up here. Some more people came up, he did it, he stood at the bar. So I started rapping. I seen this face too, I started rapping. This is real hip hop, something you ain't used to. I'm murdering these beats and I'm killing producers. He turned around and was like, oh! Like he came up there, showed me love, dabbed me. He booed everybody. But when I started rapping, my nigga, man, that shit, he wasn't supposed to do that, but man, you dope. So I do the set, everybody in the venue was like showing me crazy love. Cause it was like a dead showcase, crowd was whack. But when I got up there, people got up out their seats and went to the front of that venue, right?
Yeah.
Didn't get paid for that show. But at the end of it, that same dude, we outside, he walked up to me. Come to find out he from New York. He said, hey, yo, what borough are you from? I'm like, what? He said, no, your whole steez, like, you from what, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, where you from?
Your whole steez.
He said, nah, your whole steez, like.
Bananas.
He saw the LRG and I had a good, look, here's how old I am. I had a good wood necklace, so.
Oh, you got the African one?
Yeah, he saw the African piece. He like, oh, what you? He said, you like one of them Queens niggas. I said, man, I'm from Canton, Ohio, bro. He said, nuh-uh. I said, swear to God. He said, man, I get weed in Canton all the time, bro.
What's good?
What's up? So he showed me love, but that let me know something too. He was like, bro, yo, sound. He was like, that's hip hop. I thought you was from like the borough, cause I'm from Brooklyn. I thought you was from Queens or something, cause the way you put yourself together. But I thought that was so crazy that he just saw the spirit of hip hop in me to think I was from New York. I thought that was the biggest compliment. I'm like, you think I'm from New York? From Canton, Ohio, bro. I ain't, you know.
Yeah. Like you tapped into an essence, man.
That, and then like I told you about how the at Cleveland dudes, you know,
right. You don't even need to tell that.
That was crazy. But listen, all I'm gonna say is Cleveland know when you ain't from Cleveland.
That is a
They
fact.
will sniff you out. I don't know how that brother knew, but y'all know.
Yeah, we definitely know.
Woo.
Anything south, east, or west of Cleveland, we know.
Like I told you, he said, you like one of them Akron Canton niggas. And I was like, yep, he in my car. Man, get up out of here.
So yeah, so you talk about, you know, your style compared to like a lot of other people's in the city. I remember in interview you did with a jam company, you said you felt like you were blackballed at one point.
Yeah. Shout out to Jam Company, my dude, Akron. It was in that phase where you try to get acceptance from the local scene. Like when you trying to get for me, I think I was trying to get other rappers in Canton to like me. And then like, once they saw how I moved, meaning like, I come from a college background, so.
It's all community.
Email me.
Yeah.
They took that as, I ain't about to email you, nigga. Who you think you is? Like I was like one of the first ones to be like, email me, I charge for features, how long you want me to perform for. At the time, some of the local rappers took that as like, who you think he is? But in my eyes, I didn't want to come off as a local artist.
Setting up your business.
That's it. So at the time, I felt like they was just telling people, oh, Jéan P think he Hollywood, Jéan P think he this and that. So I felt that way for a minute, but excuse my language, I just stopped giving a fuck and just really was like, all right, you know what? I ain't gonna let y'all do so and done half of what I did, blackball me. So that's when I took the role as I'm gonna be the face of what's going on, but I didn't try. I wasn't trying to be, I'm the king of Canton. I wasn't trying to be no king of Canton. I just wanted to be respected.
Right.
And that's how I feel now. It's like, I don't have to compete with no local rappers in Canton no more. The only person from Canton who I may have to compete with because of numbers is what, Trippie Redd, because he's very successful at what he's doing. That should be the standard.
He ain't competing with nobody in Canton.
I mean, on lyrically, like on the music side, I'm just being competitive. I don't want nobody seeing this being like, oh, y'all PP. No, I just mean I'm confident in myself to say, no one in Canton is competing with me. But also, it's like
you make completely different kind. That's not even comparable.
That part
it's
too.
Not even, like he makes more rock music.
Yeah.
Actually rap. And
I respect where he's at. Like, hell, I would love to be where he's at. So there's ever no beef. Hell, Kanye shouted him out today. If I could be that, I would love to have a Kanye shout out. Listen, let Kanye repost one of my current Instagram posts. I'm quitting my job tomorrow. I'm like, what? Kanye West? I wouldn't quit my job. I'm like, Kanye West co-sign me? Then I might go ahead and get that Canton crown. I'm just joking. I might get that crown and just walk around, deliver a man with a crown on like, Take your mail, peasants. Kanye West reposted my video.
That's real.
Take your bills.
So as far as like you know, you done made it through. You done persevered through so much, and like you actually found a way to make a name for yourself in your city. On top of that, you know, uh, like bring you like into modern days, like you know, how were you navigating through life? I know you say you worked at like you know. The Salvation Army for a second at Goodwill.
I worked at Goodwill. That was like the first shit for real. For I would have been the rapping thrift salesman because Goodwill was really. I think Goodwill taught me structure about jobs.
Yeah.
You know, working with people. I worked there with my best friend. Community service. I think a lot of the things I did before kind of prepared me to be a mailman. So like being in Goodwill, I worked the thrift donation door. I bring in people's junk. And then I would do the cash register. So it taught me a lot because I can see a lot of vintage. I think that's why I love vintage things so much because we get guys who dump records and I'll be like, you don't realize what you threw away. So my manager, rest in peace, Denise, she would let me buy some of the records that customers would donate. Cause I tell her, she knew I was a music head too because I should be back there sorting through the wares. I'd be like, hey Denise, look at this record. Yeah, go back there and donate. Work on that door. I'm like, man, I can't believe this. And she'd be like, put it back in the pile, because we had to process it, but I try to hold on to it, but that'd be stealing. So when they would process it, I'd be like, Nancy, can you process that and make sure you tell me where you put that record at? Then I'll go out there and buy it. She'd be like, you think you slick? Because we get some records in there.
I believe.
So like, I remember we got a record one time, Uriah Heep, and I was like, gotta have it. And I was trailing that record. It would go through the wares. I was trailing that thing. We used to have these big carts. They would dump all the wares in carts. And I'm like, man, where'd that cart go? And the record was sitting right there. I went out there and bought it, $5. I still got it to this day. But Goodwill was the first job. Then I worked through Midwest Health Services. I think everybody done worked at Midwest Health. I worked there. That was my experience with working with mentally disabled. I worked that industry for like 5-6 years. I work it now currently. So learning that communication skills with different people who are different than you, how to take care of people. Then obviously the mailman. So it's been that way for 9 years.
Nice. Now, like being called the Rapping Mailman, how do you feel about that?
That made a life of its own.
It doesn't depend on who's saying it.
I haven't had nobody say being disrespectful. I haven't had nobody be like, or I haven't had no girl say like, you rapping ass mailman. I ain't had that yet. You rapping mailman. I ain't had that yet. I just had like, I think the most I have is like, I was at Chipotle one time, and like this girl and her dude staring at me. I thought they was trying to do something to me, and they was looking at me, and it was like, rapping mailman. They're like, yeah. Oh, okay, I follow you on TikTok. They'll do that, or I'll be at the grocery store, like some little kids, because I always go to Meijer, I always go to the grocery store. Kids will be looking at the aisle, like one time I seen these kids, I think they was following me, they would peek, and I would turn around, they peek the other way. And then they would peek, and then I walk by and their mom was like, they want to know, are you that guy on TikTok? And I'd be like, yeah, that's me. Okay.
You want a picture?
Right, you know what I'm saying? I asked them, it's like, no, I don't want a picture. They just want to know if it was you. But it's like little things like that somebody could take and go Kanye mode and be like, I'm the best. It humbles me as to like, okay, not only are elderly people watching me, kids are watching me. People that work for Canton City schools are watching me. I'll be silly. Even when I'm silly and make a joke or something, I'll be mindful of what I'm joking about.
Right.
Like if I talk about relationships or women, I don't go too far because I know there's groups of people that are watching me. Like I always move like that, you know? There's people that are always watching me, so.
Throughout this time of growth, you done worked in many different industries and everything because you had to grow up, you know, so it wasn't all about the music, but throughout that time, you still became a prolific rap artist within that time.
Thank you.
You dropped a plethora of projects. Any of those projects, how many projects throughout that time? Like, say like from the time you came back home to now, how many projects have you dropped?
Man, from the time I came back home, that was 20. Let me see. I had to pull out my. I want to get this number right. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jordan,
It's more than 10, though, right?
yeah, more than 10, because I had dropped some mixtapes, some projects, so at least 10, because I know. I may be looking at my phone during the interview. I apologize. Let's see.
So unprofessional.
Since I came home, I dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Are there pick like 4 projects out of that really define the era that you were in at that time?
From the time I came home, Hometown Hero, because that was like my way of letting people know I'm here in Canton, like this is mine, you know. Hometown Hero, Son of Sherry, because I think that was my way of saying I was grieving my mom as an adult, because people think that grieving is over when you're a child in time, but no, it affects you in your daily life. Hometown Hero, Son of Sherry, All Is Good, because I think that was where I learned to make a couple bops on there, you know. Made some bangers, hits, like I was so sad. That's why I got in that mode. Jokes on You, that was a fun project to do, because that's where I learned more about promotion and content. Those 4, it's hard to pick 4, because I was gonna say What You Mean too. The way I see it, it's like, it's hard to pick 4, because every project in a way, it kind of goes back to my literary background. It feels like every project to me is like a book, which is why I should have been did a book or had something published, because to me, I approach every album in a literary sense. Every album is a different story.
Yeah.
Or a different place of where I'm at in my life.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you know, you've been slowly writing the book. The book ain't come together yet. You've been expressing yourself through music.
Slowly but surely, and that's why I feel like
because your story ain't done yet.
It's not over. That's why I didn't want to do a documentary.
Now, as far as like in the last year, you know, you got hit with more adversity, even more. Like, explain, you know, what you've been going through in the last year.
So, in March of 2023, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. March 23 or 24. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It kind of affects the way I talk sometimes. So like the language barrier that allows me to talk, like imagine like a phone cord that's like burned. The barriers that allow me to speak, they were damaged. So like, I thought that was crazy too, because like when I told the doctor, I was like, I rap. That's what I do. So like now, sometimes when I speak, my speech might feel delayed, but I get like tired sometimes, like talking. And like my words are processed a little slower. And like it affected, people wouldn't hear it, but I can feel it sometimes. And it was really bad because I didn't know what was going on. And I felt like that was God's way of telling me, sit down for a minute. Because I've been literally working from 18 to 33.
Yeah.
And then once that 34 mark hit, I was like, oh, I'm gonna take this year to just kind of just step back, live my life a little, live for Jéan, be Jéan Johnson. I think from college to 33, I've been Jéan P the MC.
Yeah.
I don't think people really knew, I mean, besides me and you, us being friends, I don't think a lot of people really got to know Jéan Johnson.
Yeah.
I think you know Jéan Johnson, you know Jéan P the MC.
Yeah.
I don't think the world really knew Jéan Johnson, so that's why I started doing my funny TikToks and my reels and my things like that, because I want to show people who I am as a person. I'm funny, I like to be silly. I think people just got the rapper mode of me. People always know I was silly and funny, but that's why I like TikTok, because I'm like, people get to see me as a person.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a mailman, he really loves being a mailman, so I really was like immersed in that.
think what people really, gravitate towards in regards to you being a mailman is not even you being a mailman. It's just how you embed yourself in your community.
Yeah.
You always interacting with people. Say I call you, you call me when you're on your route, and you're always just,
Talking to somebody.
talking to people. Dropping off packages, parcels. Dropping off parcels.
But you notice when you're on the phone, you always hear, "What's up, JJ?"
Yeah.
That part. You never really hear that about mailmen. So it's like, I think for me, being a mailman is the best PR I can get.
Yeah.
Unofficially. I think my career, I've always had these like accidental rollouts. That's why like, when me and you talked, he was like, "You doing a press release?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." So that's why, I did a radio interview today, doing this one with you, having Chase making content. Like, I know this now, with the documentary coming out in a week, I gotta be in their faces every day. So like, now I'm learning from the blog era, I gotta make content to post tomorrow, or post on Thursday, or post on Friday. I know on Saturday I'm gonna be posting a lot, reposting people's stuff, because they're gonna be posting about the documentary premiere. So it's like, God, that becomes a job too. Because mentally you gotta be like, okay, I gotta make content tomorrow. Like me, every day, sometimes I'll be like, okay, I may not be able to do it today, but what kind of mailman content am I gonna make today?
Right.
What can I make? So if I'm on a route and I feel something, I see something, I do it. So going from the blog days where you gotta email blogs to, I gotta make content today, it's a different adjustment, but a great adjustment.
It's all on you now.
It's all literally all on you. Back in the days where you'd be like, label gonna promote me, I'm gonna have somebody control my Instagram. Nah,
None of that.
this is kind of low key like another job too.
Yeah, definitely. And since I came back to Canton, I've been pounding that crazy.
No, but that you too. Like before, like even with when I upload podcast
even
clips.
back in the day.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize that I think about a lot of the prior conversations.
Yeah.
I didn't understand because content wasn't where it was at now.
Yeah.
Even like with the podcast clips, when I share clips, you tell me title it this way.
Yeah.
Instead of just uploading it. I come from that period. Now, for people to see it, it has to be worded a certain way.
Yeah, you gotta play the rules. It's, everything got a process, and success leaves crumbs.
So like now with this doc, I can't just wait till it come out next Monday. I gotta let people know, hey, I'm doing promo runs and I'm making content for this. Oh, I gotta make a post. Instead of posting on Facebook on my day, I post, hey, I got this going on, but doc come out in 6 days. So like whatever I post, so like I'll post my personal stuff if I want. Like if I feel a quote, I share a quote, but under that quote you're gonna see 5 more days, Jéan P story, don't forget that. Yeah, you like this funny reel, but this is coming out.
This is coming out. Hold on. Now you got a documentary coming out, and you also have a project coming out. Explain about the documentary.
So the documentary, shot by Joe Lewis and Pat Folke, and the students from Glen Oak. They helped edit it. It's dope, man. It feels good because I never really wanted to do a documentary because I didn't feel like my story was over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been asked to do them. I've done interviews and stuff, but like every time I've done an interview, I always felt like I had more to do. And with this documentary coming out, I think it's a place of like, oh, he still has more to do, but this is who he is.
Yeah.
That's why I don't gotta compete with no local rappers. Cause it's like, I'm showing y'all all these years of this shit I've been doing, we put it in these little 21 minutes to show y'all see the story. Cause everybody raps, but not everybody has a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I have a story, cause I've been through a lot. People see me smiling silly and wouldn't think my parents passed away. People hear me talk and wouldn't think it's a battle sometimes when I want to speak, People wouldn't understand, like, oh man, his son's still in his life. I could have been dipped on my kid.
Right.
I'm still in his life. I'm still doing things, because, they got a certain view of black men from this city. Not just in Canton, but in general. They don't see the Jordan Tuckers married and happy, working with sports. They don't see Jéan P trying to be seen in his community, not talking no gang shit, violent shit, doing what's popular and gonna get money in my pocket. I'm sure if I started talking violent shit in my songs, I'd be eating.
Right. No, you would been got called out.
Got called out, but going viral, because they would have been like, who is this Jéan P dude? What? Say what you mean, don't sound like this gang shit he just did.
Right.
You know,
go back and, it's
gonna go back and see all these mailman raps. He gang now? Yeah, I just...
How you gonna be gang banging with good benefits?
How you gang banging with a 401k?
How you gonna be gang banging with a bank account?
With a thrift savings plan, right.
Your bank account is your mattress, nigga.
You're right, man. So, and that's where I feel success at. I always thought success was based on me signing a record deal. I done had that experience, it's not what it is. But sometimes the success to me is like, especially what I've been through, I think success is me just being able to go to the grocery store and getting what I need to get without having to be like, oh, I can't do it. We can only eat this week. It was times in my life where I had to depend on $5 so I can go get me a little box at Taco Bell. And that was for the day. But still making music though.
Right.
But now, the fact that I can be like, I can go to the store, grab a couple things, and feel good about it, that to me is success.
Yeah.
That to me, success is...
Sustainable.
It's sustainability is success. Like, I used to think success was, oh, a chain, how many girls I can hit, how many awards I can get, how many records I sell. But I think success is, my son's mom, hey, Amir need this. All right, cool. Or I think this is successful. The fact that I can talk with you, the fact that I can go on my local radio station, ain't have to go through hula hoops. Hey, I'm promoting a documentary. All right, come on. Years ago, I had to fight for that.
Right.
Because they didn't take rappers serious in Canton especially.
Yeah.
But now I do something, and like others try to do it. I'm not gonna say do it, because they try to do it, but never do it successfully. So I think the respect is success for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the next step in that is making sure, the next people doing it, do it correctly.
Exactly.
So everything that you acquired and are acquiring now, like you still open book, you still learning a lot how to put yourself out there.
And I keep an eye out, for what's going on out here. And there's some that I really keep my eye on, and I pray they keep this shit going.
Yeah.
And, keep putting it out there, keep repping Canton. Because at one point in time, people told me I shouldn't rep Canton. But in my defense, I would say, okay, I can't rep Canton, so why is Snoop repping Long Beach every chance he get?
Right.
Why Snoop repping Atlanta? He ain't even from Atlanta, but A-Town all the time. You know what I'm saying? Why Jay-Z, New York, he New York, why can't I rep where I come from?
Right.
Now, when people think of Canton, if you know about me, oh, you're gonna think of Jéan P. Or Trippie Redd. Either way, you're thinking about us, other than just football.
Right.
So.
Man, FTG, now, I think we about wrapped up. I think your story can be like very inspirational to a lot of young men out there that are like trying to navigate life and say they might be missing a parent, or they might have been dealt the same part you were dealt.
Yeah.
You dealt with 4 could have been detrimental situations, but you kept on pushing through every single one, through losing your dad,
Yeah, man.
to losing your mom, to having a child at 20.
And no money in my pocket.
No money in your pocket, having to drop out because you was slacking on your macking.
And that's crazy too, because it's like, even thinking about my son and his mom, like, as a father, you should always have a plan. But at that time, I didn't even think I had one. And that was scary to think about, because there's a lot of fathers who I don't know personally, because I don't fuck with no dad who ain't around.
Right.
Men out here with kids, and you think they ain't got kids. Then you find they got 3 or 4.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to move like that. Granted, my son lives an hour away, and I don't see him every day, but my son knows who his father is. Some men don't know they dad live in the same city as them. Don't make the effort.
Right.
I can't be that person. I couldn't be that person. But in that time of my life, I could have been. I could have been like, because at that point in my life, I was like, I'm trying to go to New York, LA, pursue this music shit. I could have did that and just left Amir and Corlisha do it on their own. I couldn't do that. So I was praying to God, like, how could I incorporate my everyday life into my dream, which is being a hip hop artist. And this I'm living the dream now.
Right.
No, I ain't got no Mercedes. No, I ain't got no 6-bedroom house.
Most of them don't.
Don't even own it. If they got it, it's not theirs. It's chapter 6s. You know, it's the banks.
Yep.
You know, but yeah,
AKA the bank.
yeah, the bank on the labels, and no label on none of my own my car.
Yeah.
You know, and that to me that's successful.
Yeah.
You know, like I love seeing them clips of them rappers going back to their old hoods and people showing them love. But they had to be famous to do that. The fact that I'm in a male uniform, sweat my ass off, dusty legs, probably ashy, looking dirty. What's up, Jéan P? They ain't ignoring me.
Right.
I'm working too. You going to work? I'm at work. What's up?
Right.
When your next show? They don't gotta ask me that. Sweating like a dog. Hey, bro, what's coming out next? You know what I mean? It's rappers who you wouldn't think have jobs who have them, who hide it. I don't hide it.
Right.
I'm the MC, I'm nice, but I gotta clock in just like you do.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of the culture. So yeah, we don't gotta talk about me all day. We can talk about this new clips coming out. We talk about what Kanye done did. Talk about when new music is out, because I'm a fan of this shit just as much as I'm an artist.
Right.
So, yeah.
Culture. But so what would you say to like a young man right now who might be lost because they're dealing with like a loss or they're just in a weird circumstance?
I would say you get out what you put in. If I would have allowed myself to be sad about my mom or my dad or going through a heartbreak, then I don't think that's not progress. I put in that work to be better, you know, to get over that, to learn from them losses, whether it be a bad relationship, and I've been through those, and had to learn through those. You know, if I wouldn't have learned emotional intelligence, I would have been still doing crazy shit, handling the breakup bad, you know, or I would have been out here crashing out on random people because I'm not healed from losing my dad or my mom.
Right.
You know, and I can't be that person, bro, because my son gonna go through it one day. One day he gonna go through a breakup. These kids a little different now. They might be on their heartless thing, but yeah, one day my son might say, Dad, I got my heart broke. And I gotta tell him about my experience and what I learned from it. If I ain't learned from it, well, I'm gonna teach him.
Right.
So I tell kids, you get out what you put in.
That's glorious, man. Well, you know, thank you for your time. I feel like we left a lot on the cutting room floor today. You know, there's more that I wanted to talk about, but you know, it's hot as fuck out here. and on top of that, you know, that means just we gotta do this again. So I appreciate your time.
Of course, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, and you know, want to give any shout outs or anything?
Shout out to you for the interview. Everybody watching, shout out to all the listeners who watch the Say What You Mean podcast as well. Shout out to my city, my family, my friends, the day ones who really support Jéan P the MC and been part of this journey. That's still going on, it ain't over, you know. Yeah, so that's all I want to shout out.
Yeah, clutch, man. And what's the name of that new project?
The name of the new project is called So I Was Thinking. It'll be hopefully wrapped up and done by September.
Cool. And from what I heard, it sounds pretty gangster. And, you know, yeah, you know, let's make it happen.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.